Yo, my brothers and sisters out there in Chimes Land. This is Bo once again coming to you from Minneapolis at the home of Larry Graham. And this is a follow up to our conversation from last night. Tonight, we're kind of finishing up with a discussion around what the Bible really teaches us about the times, the system that we're in, and what we should expect in the years to come. Brother Larry, take it on, my brother. Start me off with your thoughts on any one of those questions.
Um, Basically, you wonder where we are in the stream of time.
All right.
So I might start by saying that the best thing to do, anyone that's watching this video, would be to go to jw.org, jw.org, and there you'll find like tons of videos, publications, New World's Translation of the Bible, and other translations as well. And there's a wealth of information pretty much on any subject.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take your time in the comforts of your own home and look up these subjects.
Yes, sir.
Right? And one book that I'd recommend, one is a brochure, Good News brochure, you find in the publications. And the other one is this one, What Can the Bible Teach Us?
Is that different than the book that I've been studying from?
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Man, you should tell. I would have picked up one tonight.
It's online.
Oh, okay.
It's on
cool.
your phone. Just
Cool.
go to the website and download the JW Library.
Okay.
It's a purple app. Download that, and then just tap on publications or videos or Bible. But this is the publication that most people are studying in its entirety. It's not a very big book, but it's very powerful, and it doesn't take the place of the Bible. Nothing does. It just helps you in your study, your examination of the Bible, because everything is grouped into subjects, and you can look up any particular subject. The other one is the Good News brochure, which is like a small version of this.
Okay.
So a lot of times people will start with this. There's 14 lessons in the back. What is the good news? Who is God? Is the good news really from God? Who is Jesus Christ? What is God's purpose for the earth? And how can you draw close to God? 14 different subjects.
Okay.
And then to get more in depth, you go into what can the Bible teach us. It's about 19 chapters or so.
Great.
And, but one of the things that Jesus said to look for, it's in Matthew 24,
Mm-hmm.
and we got it up there on the screen.
All right.
And his disciples came to him and said, while he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples approached him privately saying, tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your presence and of the conclusion of the system of things? So you notice up there, they wanted to know what would be the sign of his presence.
Mm-hmm.
When you research the word presence, the Greek word would be parousia. Some translations render what would be the sign of your coming.
Coming, yeah.
Which would be different than presence.
Right.
So there would be certain things that would indicate that Jesus was present, as opposed to these same signs meaning that he was coming. So how would we know he was present? If you look, then
I didn't know that was parousia. That's good. That's rich. I can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
So parousia and presence have some relationship here.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Yeah, so they want to know, and then they asked for a sign, something that would indicate that he was present, because you wouldn't be able to see him. If you could see him when he would come again, then you would need a sign.
Right.
So since it would be an invisible presence, you would need something to indicate that he was present.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in verse 7, Jesus said, "For nation will rise against nation,
Mm-hmm.
kingdom against kingdom. There will be food shortages and earthquakes in one place after another. And all these things are beginning of pangs of distress." So one part of this composite sign
Mm-hmm.
would be nation against nation. When was the first time you heard of a world war?
1914.
Yeah. So never was there any world wars before then. So that was one of the things. And along with that, you mentioned food shortages
Uh-huh.
and earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 100 years, there's been more earthquakes in one place after another. Then he mentions also in verse 11, false prophets.
Mm.
Another sign would be, in this good news of the kingdom will be preached in all the inhabited earth for witness to all the nations, and then the end.
And then the end will come.
Yeah, so there's a global preaching work that has been taking place in these last days, unlike any other time in history.
Yes, sir.
Been billions of hours spent and billions of pieces of literature to help people take in, accurate knowledge of the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another sign, the good news of the kingdom being preached.
So what do the signs mean?
Well, it means, back in verse 3, it means that he's present.
Present. Cool.
Yeah.
So while we are looking at all of what we call the disaster and devastation that's going on around us, those who are conscious, spiritually conscious, see that as a sign of presence.
Yeah, when Jesus, he said, as you see all these things occur, raise your direct, because your deliverance is
okay.
Near.
All right.
All these things are indicators, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find Mark's version of it and Luke's version of that, this event. And then if you go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, we kind of like get a little glimpse into, well, you tell me if you think this sounds like the times we're living in.
Okay.
Imagine reading this in your newspapers. But know this, in the last days, critical times, hard to deal with, will be here. So in the last days of the system, critical times.
Last days of this system.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody's in critical condition, it's bad.
CCU, ICU. Yeah, we don't. You can't even go in there without a mask or something, because this is critical.
Yeah. So notice what he said. He said, "For men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money,
gotcha,
boastful, haughty, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, disloyal, having no natural affection, not open to any agreement, slanderers, without self-control, fierce, without love of goodness, betrayers, headstrong, puffed up with pride, lovers of pleasures rather than lovers of God, having an appearance of godliness, but proving false to its power, and from these turn away." That sound like the time?
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So these are some of the conditions that we mention as to how things would be in the last days. And so basically, there's a number of scriptures that we could go to. I just wanted to show you a couple that kind of helps us see where we are in the stream of time.
Good.
There's a lot more, but like I was saying, for folks that really want to go into detail in this book, what can the Bible teach us? There is a chapter here that is. Let me see which one it is.
Number 9 is
Number
in this
nine.
in this one though it
Is
says.
the end of the world near?
Is that number 9?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What does yours say?
And it starts on
Are we
page.
living in the last days?
How we
That's,
living? Okay, that's the book I got.
So it's similar.
All right.
So here on this page, you see like a picture that's kind of talking about some of the things.
Looks like an apocalypse.
Yeah.
You see the picture? It's just like this, huh, baby?
Like Jesus talked about wars.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Jesus said, "Nation rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom." Just to give you a sample of what this book says about that, it says more people have been killed in wars in our time than any other time in history.
Mm-hmm.
One report from the World Watch Institute shows that since 1914, wars have killed more than 100 million people. More than 3 times as many people were killed in wars during the 100 years between 1900 and 2000 as were killed during the previous 1,900 years. Just imagine the misery and pain that millions of people have felt because of war. And then he mentions hunger, food shortages. Even though more food is produced now than ever before, many people never have enough to eat. Why? Because they don't have enough money to buy food or land on which to grow it. More than 1 billion people have less than $1 a day to live on. And then it goes on to talk more about that. He mentioned earthquakes in one place after another. It brings out that many powerful earthquakes are now expected every year. Since the year 1900, over 2 million people have died because of earthquakes. And although technology has helped to detect earthquakes earlier than before, many people still die. And then it talks about disease. Even though doctors have learned how to treat many sicknesses, there's still sicknesses that cannot be cured. In fact, one report explains that each year millions of people die from diseases such as tuberculosis, malaria, and cholera. Not only that, but doctors have found 30 new diseases, and some of them have no cure. You had a comment?
No, I was just saying, and then cancers is wiping out a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you have laid out the question that I asked you and framed it very well. Mm-hmm. So to conclude our session, talk to me about what you see as being and I don't, solution isn't the right word. Let's talk about a path, a lifestyle, a course of action that we can take, and I don't want to, I don't want this to be highfalutin, just everyday people.
Well, it's pretty simple. John 17.
Okay,
3,
cool.
Book of John. I'll go there. And it's really simple.
It is.
God wouldn't make it complicated for us to know how to get on the right path. John 17:3, right here. Jesus said, "This means everlasting life. They're coming to know you, the only true God, and the one whom you sent forth, Jesus Christ."
Gotcha.
So based on this scripture, what is it that we should do?
We need to come into a relationship with the true God. True, and the emphasis I want to put there is on true, because we know that there's only one God, but I'm not sure we know for a fact that the God that we have in our minds and consciousness is the true God. Because I've noticed that we tend to make God in our image rather than us trying to find out who God is so we can see his image in us. So that's what if we plan to get to it, if we going to get to everlasting life, it has to come through a knowledge, one, coming to know you. And that knowledge is not just carnal knowledge or physical knowledge of the physical plane, but a spiritual knowledge of who is true, the God that is not seen, rather than the gods that we have made here.
And coming to know someone implies an intimate relationship. It's really based on knowing someone intimately close, really come. It's like somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I know Bo." They may just know your name, right?
So they know of me.
They know of you, but
They
they don't
don't
really know.
They don't
you.
know me.
They haven't sat down.
I mean, I told them to stop talking about me so much. You don't know me. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
getting to know somebody is different than just taking in knowledge and being aware that someone exists.
Mm.
That's why what we try to do is encourage people to sit down and have a free home Bible study at the convenience, whatever's convenient for you, in the convenience of your own home or another place of your choice, location, and sit down and have a free home Bible study. No obligation, no commitment. Nobody would
No
ever try
cost.
to force you, to pressure you to join.
Because you can't
because
just
it's
join
not,
anyway.
It's not about that. It's about sharing the knowledge, and then a person makes their own decision what they want to do. I can show you how to play the piano, but it's up to you what you want to do with it, right? I can't force you to be a musician, right? So even much more so with sharing what we've learned from the scriptures with somebody else, and then they simply do what they want to do.
Got you.
Do with it. So we encourage people to pick up this publication, the Good News brochure of what can the Bible teach us. You can get together with any one of Jehovah's
That
Witnesses
video, what can the Bible,
for free.
That one clip video too shows a lot.
The video on
Study the Bible.
JW.org. If you click on the videos, there's a video called "Why Study the Bible,"
Mhm.
which we'll watch in
It's
a minute.
perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And it's only 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes long, but it really answers your
Lays
question.
it out.
Why
Okay.
why study the Bible? Some people are curious as to what takes place in the Kingdom Hall, like we just left.
Yeah, we
Went
just
into it,
did
and
it.
Bruce got a chance to see it for the first time. A lot of folks don't even know what the inside of a Kingdom Hall looks like, and they might have other things in imagination as to what it looks like. Well, we got a chance to go there a little while
we
ago
did.
and see.
Bruce said he learned a lot.
No,
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned about a lot about some of the secrets to, not the secrets, but the strengths to what you all do.
Yeah.
And it's the organization and the discipline and the focus of thought.
Right.
And the unified thought.
I like that.
That's what he told me
Like
when
that.
I was walking out the door.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Unified.
So you can kind of like look at it kind of like the educational center for the community. You know, in various communities, they have an educational center where the focus is being educated in the Bible and what the Bible can teach us.
Okay.
And that's basically it.
That's the book.
There's no collection plates. The focus is not money.
Never will be.
You know, the focus is not money. All of the elders there all have jobs. They work for a living. No one is getting paid for what they do. There is no class distinction. Everybody is the same. You know, nobody stands out as being different from anyone else. And it's like an educational center. Again, the focus is taking in knowledge or coming to know God. But interestingly, in that scripture, it says it means everlasting life to come to know who?
Jesus.
And
The true God,
First.
and the one whom you sent,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Thank you.
And the sent part is an interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very
so you got to
interesting.
get to know God,
God,
whose name is Jehovah, which you'll find in many Bibles in various places, but a lot of them you definitely will find in the Psalm 83:18. Right?
Okay.
So they got to come to know the only true God, Jehovah, but not just Him,
the one who he
and
sent.
the one whom He sent forth, Jesus Christ. So
Jesus
you got to know the Father and the Son, right?
All right.
So by doing that, then that will put you on the road to John 3, since we're in John here. John 3 and verse 16. And everybody knows the scripture, right? For God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten Son, so that everyone who exercising faith in him might not be destroyed, but have everlasting life. So we take in knowledge.
Whoever believeth in him. So
Yeah.
what we do is we kind of leave out with the gospel of the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe. But here we are talking about an exercising, a physical. There has to be a practice. It has to be. That's what I'm asking you. Lifestyle.
So think about that now. Think about what's the difference between believing and exercising. You can have some. Let's say we have some exercise equipment.
I know. And I'm sitting there looking at it every day. I'm thinking about, well, you know what? I know if I got over, I believe if I got over there, pick that weight up.
Right.
It might change.
So if you hop on it and exercise,
now to get
up, get more benefit.
Yeah.
So you have to exercise faith, right?
And that's the key.
Just believe,
You know, and I think that even might be a good point to wrap. We got 21 minutes that we done. That'd be good. I don't want to make them too long. But the point for this with me is to bring you guys, girls, and beautiful people from Chimes Land to give hopefully a better insight to the person, the human being, the person who I have come to know, not just as a musical legend, but a real human being who has another side to him that really has nothing to do with music as much as it does with being in relationship with the Creator who sent him here with this gift to share with us. And then how he has taken that gift to use it to also inspire people to search for that relationship that he has found that can help all of us become the community, the kingdom that they are witnessing to, as to the power that can change not just our lives, but the world that we live in, so that we can have a better place for our children and prosperity to exist, and hopefully find the blessings that Jehovah planned for us all in the very beginning. Peace and blessings to you. This is Bo. I'm out of here.